Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and welcome back. So finally got around to watching this again, and wanted to do a new review for this because I had done a review a long time ago that was pretty much non-spoilers. I held off on watching this because I know a lot of times, well, sometimes when you watch a movie in theaters, and I know not everyone likes this film, and that's fine. Like I know my friend Effrey doesn't like the film, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know some people feel that it's overrated and this and that, and that's fine. It's just one of those things we agree to disagree on. So you already know my thoughts on it, on the film. But I was going to say that sometimes you see a film in a theater and then you go home, you got it's not so good. But I know that happened with people with Avatar. I never saw Avatar in the theater. I just saw it at home and I was bored stiff. And that was a film I didn't care for. I didn't care for anything in the film, to be honest. So I guess what my thoughts are on Avatar is what some people's thoughts are on this film. And again, it's just one of those things we agree to disagree on. Because I saw this in the theater, I actually saw it twice in the theater in 3D. It was a great experience. I felt like I was in the film. I felt like I was in space with these characters. I felt it was without a doubt the best experience I ever had in a theater. And that's why I saw it twice in 3D, which I've never done that before. Never seen a film twice in 3D in a theater. So at the end, I'm like, okay, is it gonna hold up, or is it gonna be like A Good Day to Die Hard? Like I saw A Good Day to Die Hard in the theater, I will admit, and I liked it. Then when I came home, I'm like, oh, man, this is really tough to sit through. It happens to everyone. But that wasn't the case watching this film again, and that is Gravity. Saw this again, saw it on Blu-ray. I still love this film. I still am glad that I put this number one in my favorites for the year 2013. Still really enjoy Hours of Paul Walker. Still really enjoy World War Z, but this is without doubt my favorite. And again, if you don't like the film, that's fine. More power to you. Nothing wrong with that, but I do. I think this is one of those films I have no problems with. I really don't. I know people say it's boring. I disagree. The film is, without the end credits, it's an hour and 25 minutes. With the end credits, it's 90 minutes. So it's a short film. Did not need to be 2.5, 3 hours like a lot of films nowadays. Didn't need to be 2 hours or an hour and 55 minutes or 2 hours and 5 minutes. No. Without the end credits, it's an hour and 25 minutes. Straight up. With credits, 90 minutes. And I think when at a good pace, I was never bored because I was too busy having my jaw drop by the look of the film. This is a film that I think it took like 4 years to make, and it made sense. And I could see the budget on the screen. I think the budget was around 100 million. Now I don't know how much Sandra Bullock and George Clooney got paid, but I'm guessing because they're two big stars, they probably got paid quite a bit. So let's say at least 100 million. Let's say 20 of that went to the stars. Let's just say that, just for the fuck of it. So that's 80 million. Now, I have seen films that cost 200 million that don't look even half as good as this film. This is without a doubt the most gorgeous looking film I've seen ever. Like even just watching it on Blu-ray, it looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks photorealistic. I know at a press conference someone actually asked the director, "How was it shooting in space?" Like because the only way you can get more real looking is if you actually did shoot in space. And that held up even here on my TV on Blu-ray. So it wasn't all because the reason I bring that up because I know some, not my friend Effrey, not you guys out there, but there were some people who were coming out woodwork telling me, well, you only enjoy it because of the theater experience. You only enjoy it because of 3D. No, I saw it at home and I still enjoyed it. So what's the excuse then? I know some people say, "Oh, it's unrealistic," and I'm like, what you're complaining about, I could see in films like Die Hard. Oh, how did Sandra Bullock survive this? Well, you could ask the same thing on how Bruce Willis survived jumping off a rooftop that blows up. He didn't jump. If he jumped later, he would have blown up. He's jumping. Somehow the fire hose doesn't burn up from the fire or the explosion since the roof blew up. The fire doesn't fuck up the fire hose, so he falls to his death, and you just see John McClane go, ah! It holds long enough for him to shoot the window and go right through as it falls over, and he happens to be sliding and just gets the hose right before he falls off. You say that's convenient, because in real life, you would have jumped off and go, ah, shit, the hose would have broken, it would have burned up, or the hose would not have caught on anything, and you wouldn't have enough time to kick it and then shoot it and swing right when it goes off. But you know what? We don't care. Or at least I don't care. I don't care because I really think that's an awesome scene. Bruce Willis is really good. As is a damn good movie. And you can say that for any number of films that you bring up. Well, there's this, and there's that, and there's this. So I disagree with the unrealistic part. I mean, it's in space. People are like, well, how come there's sound? And I'm like, they did try with no sound at all. But audiences weren't having it because there's no sound in space. So they tried with zero sound at all, and audiences weren't having it because the bearer of bad news is you can't do a silent film in today's age. You can't. I know there's that film that won the Oscars, but I don't think it made jack shit of money. I'm probably wrong with that. I don't even remember what the movie was. I know it won like Best Picture. It's a Best Picture Oscar, and I can't remember what the fuck the movie was called. But when you have a film that costs $100 million, you can't do it. And this is a gamble. I mean, this was a gamble that I give credit to Warner Brothers because you have a $100 million film where it's going to be two people in space for the entire movie. And I'll be honest, this has, I think, better action than a lot of action movies of today. So even though this isn't an action film, this has better action than a lot of action films of today. It really does. It's funny, I know Sandra Bullock, she actually won an award, not an Oscar, but she won an award for best actress in an action movie. And Sandra Bullock made a joke like, I want to thank Sylvester Stallone and Jean-Claude Van Damme for teaching me how to do action scenes. And I want to thank the studio for helping a film that they didn't even know they were making. Because I guess we were making an action film. Like, even she knows it's foolish to think of this as an action movie. So the fact that, I think it was like a Teen Choice Awards or something. So, I do like the fact that she sort of poked fun at, the award circuit. Well, that specific one calling this an action movie. I like that Sandra Bullock was in on the joke. And hey, she played Stallone and Jean-Claude Van Damme, so that's props. Those are two of my favorites too. And I like Sandra Bullock. I think that I really like these two actors. I mean, what I love about the film, like I said, I think it's a beautiful looking film. Photorealistic. It all looks real to me. And this is how you do CGI. Not superhero movies where they look like cartoons half the time. Or I can spot that, I can spot that. Not for you, if it's not, oh well. This is my review. And for me, it all looked real to me. And the fact that watching the behind the scenes, nothing was there. I mean, nothing. Like, the only thing there, like, you see this stuff here? Like, here and there. You think maybe it's a set dressing? No, nothing was there. You see this? The background where you see, like, all these instruments and you see a window. Maybe you'd have the window and everything behind her would just be white. Completely white. A white shell. So they CGI'd everything behind her. Like, literally, if anyone who's seen the movie, you remember the airlock scene where she finally gets back in. She's low on oxygen, and she finally gets back in. That's where she's trying to calm herself, and she floats and happens to float into a fetal position. And you see, like, stuff in the background. I thought, okay, it was a set that they built, like an airlock set. No, it was the window, white, 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 white. Just a white wall. And that's it. That's all there was to it. So she would, like, even when she's floating in the shuttle and she's going from point A to point B and she's like going like this and going here and here, and I thought, okay, she's in a set. No, it was just a blank white shell where a lot of spots were completely missing and gone. And I watched it, well, holy shit, I thought she was actually in a tunnel. I thought she was actually in a tube. And no, none of that was, there was no sets. And sometimes on the outside, like, oh, maybe they use miniature work. No, none of that. None of that at all. That's what blows me away. Like, even watching behind the scenes, I'm like, a lot of the film is just them strapped in and having to move like this and like strapped in this thing, so they have to do like this. And I'm like, these two did a great job, because imagine only being like this and having to act a movie where there's literally nothing around. I'm not talking about Star Wars prequels where some of that shit doesn't look fucking real at all. And there were some times where there was some real stuff there. I know, so basically, what about Sin City? Sin City's a different matter because, it's a world that you knew was fake. Here is the challenge of making you believe this is real. Even the sets inside where she's at were fake, and I didn't realize it. And I like to think of myself as a decently smart guy. So this got an Oscar for special effects. It richly deserved it. I think what 2001 Space Odyssey did for special effects back then, this does for special effects today. If they want to use CGI, this is how you do it. And this took time. This took 4 years. Take the time, do it right, or don't do it at all. This is the best way to put it. You don't do it right, or you don't do it at all. And this did. And if you wanted for Oscars, it won for Best Director, Best Special Effects, Best Music, and some technical stuff. Not for acting, not for Best Picture, not for any of that. But yeah, the special effects, like the look of the Earth, it looks photorealistic. When they're in space, it all looks so real. It looks fantastic. It looks beautiful. Uh, Even just on a visual level, this film is fantastic. I'll blow smoke up its ass. I don't care. I don't give a shit. It's my review. The look of the Earth, the look of the shuttle when it's breaking apart, and during the action sequences are extremely well done. To the fact that I thought sometimes they use model work, or at least the stuff that's near her. And I'm like, that was all. Like, even the inside stuff. I'm like, I'm not talking about the stuff floating. I'm talking about like the stuff that's just on the wall, like panels and just the structure, and the fact that no, that was just completely white and blank and bare, and they put all that in. I'm like, because they had to, and the reason they did that is because they had to make a certain spot of weightlessness throughout an entire film. It wasn't just for one sequence; it was an entire film of doing this and making it believable. And to me, they did. So the visual look, I can't praise the visual look enough. The special effects, I can't praise that enough. But I know, special effects is not the only thing to love a movie for. But I just had to really drive home to a point of nauseating repeatedness that these special effects are fantastic. The directing, I think Alfonso Cuarón, I did like Children of Men. I did a review of Children of Men. Um, This is my favorite film of Alfonso Cuarón's. I thought he did a fantastic job with the directing. He deserved the Oscar for directing. because this had to have been a pain in the ass to direct. On how do you direct this kind of film, and you see the way they did it on the behind the scenes, like wow, I still don't know how the hell he did this. And I mean that in a good way. I mean, like the first almost 15 minutes, I don't think it's twice, maybe like 13 minutes or something, is all in one shot. One shot. Think about it. You have a 90-minute movie within credits, an hour and 25 minutes, technically. And your first, again, about 13 minutes is all in one shot. And it's pulling away from the Earth, going to the astronauts, following George Clooney around, following to him and Sandra Bullock. Oh shit, something's coming. They're going around and there's here, there's there. Turns around. Oh shit, their buddy gets fucked up, hit in the head. They're going around. Um, Sandra Bullock is being tilted around, out of control. She has to unbuckle, otherwise they'll tear her apart. All that done in one shot, and I'm like, how the hell did he do that? You know, and thankfully, a film with no shaky cam. The action scenes are fluid, and I can understand everything. I do understand the geography. I do understand the locations. I do understand what's going on. I don't have to rewind and go, "What the fuck happened?" God forbid someone learned to do this again, and they did. What do I complain about in action scenes? Shaky cam or cutting every 5 milliseconds. No, there's a lot. Most of the action scenes, it's fluid. It keeps going. It's not cutting. It's just you're flowing in one shot. Just they have that control and they have that. And I think the action scenes work. I think the initial, because like the satellite got fucked up and then started this chain reaction and the debris are coming. So you have the first attack of the debris where George Clooney and Sandra Bullock have to try to get out of there, and she's going around like this and trying to figure out what the fuck to do, and has to unbuckle herself, and she's going off into space. And even that is really well done, where it's like the Earth reflecting, and she's going up and down. And again, the direction, it goes into her visor to her face, and then goes inside her visor in one shot, and then turns to her point of view, all without cuts, all in one shot. And that was another thing I really enjoyed what he did is moments where you see from her point of view. You actually see her grabbing, almost like, the most high-tech video game or such. You've seen from her point of view. You've seen her. I'm like, you could do a movie like that without being found footage. There's an example of how cool it looks and how cool it'd be. See, that's doing that without the found footage angle. And it works very well. That's what I've been saying. CGI that actually looks damn good. Photoreal. Shit that's not fucking shaky cam. Cuts that are not every 5 milliseconds that you let the scene play out. Long and long. And granted, this is coming from the guy I enjoy 2001: Space Odyssey. I enjoy 2010. I enjoy Star Trek: The Motion Picture. As a kid, I always was fascinated with space. Always wanted to be in space, and the how it was in space. I liked Apollo 13, which now that I think about it, do I have that on DVD? I might. If I don't, I have to pick it up because I haven't seen Apollo. This made me want to watch Apollo 13 now, which I remember liking Apollo 13. But yeah, just the direction choices of no shading of the camera, no fucking fast cuts. A lot of times not cutting, letting the action scenes play. And whether it be the action scenes of George Clooney and Sandra Bullock they can't stop and having to try to grab whatever they can so they don't fly off. Whether it be Sandra Bullock inside the shuttle and the fire is breaking out and because of zero G gravity is going everywhere and her again. Like people complain about the fire extinguisher scene. Why? Oh, she used the fire and she banged her head. Yeah, first off, that would happen. Second off, they even explain that out of all the astronauts, she's I don't know if you want to say rookie. that I believe this is her first mission, that she trained for 6 months, and it's not like she's been in this situation before, and she still handles herself pretty damn well considering the circumstances. It was like, I know a friend of mine had a problem with the ending, like when she escapes, like what's she gonna do now? But like for example, when she opens the capsule, like her capsule lands in the water. Before she opens the door, even says, even hear Ed Harris. He's the voice of Mission Control, which is cool because he was in Apollo 13. He even says, and I heard it, oh, rescue mission, is coming for you, something like that. Like a rescue team is heading for you. And if people go, well, how would they know about that? Well, even earlier in the film, Sandra Bullock is talking to George Clooney. Why are you still talking to Mission Control? They can't hear us. And George Clooney says, we don't know that. That's why we always keep in contact just in case. So, I mean, I don't think the script is as bad as some people make it out to be. I'm not talking about like my friends. I'm talking about like stuff I've read. I'm like, I could give a counter argument to a lot of that stuff. And I think that's what makes you really love a film. If you really love a film and someone says something, you give a counter argument. It's like I've been on both fences. If I hate a film, someone who's really passionate loving it would give a counter argument on how they disagree with me, and vice versa. That's what's called discussing a film. Discussing a film. Let's talk about it. But I thought the directing was well done. I thought the director deserved that Oscar. I really enjoy the music. I especially love the music where she is re-entering the atmosphere. I thought that was very well done, like uplifting. And that's what I think. I think this is a great visual story, well directed. I think Sandra Bullock. Some people don't like Sandra Bullock, then it's because they don't like Sandra Bullock. I do. I've liked her ever since Demolition Man, Speed. I liked The Blind Side. I liked The Heat. I like Sandra Bullock. I don't have a problem with Sandra Bullock. And I thought she did a good job here. I think George Clooney did a good job here. I thought he was likable and he was funny. He's like, yeah, I know I'm devastatingly handsome, but you need to, keep track of what's going on. I thought George Clooney worked well, and I thought the music, whether it be the soft points of the music, I think it helped well. The only other piece of music I liked in 2013 was that one theme in Man of Steel, and that was the one that was used in all the trailers. But other than that, I can't think of another score that I gave a shit about except this one. So I'm glad this one for the music. So I think the directing's top notch. I think the acting is a solid job. Even Ed Harris as Mission Control, that was cool. And I like little moments and little stuff that, for example, uh, when you see they find their buddy who got hit in the head, it's pretty grisly. That's a grisly scene for a PG-13, not the fucking Robocock with, oh, look at his CGI lines and shit. Well, you know what? Here, it's a guy with no fucking face. That something went right through and he's all fucked up. Like, they went right through his fucking head and you see, a big hole in his face. And that's PG 13. That to me is more ooh than the fucking Robocop shit. Robobucati remake. Bullshit. That's me. Um, or a moment when she's crying and the tears fall off and then they, go off into zero G gravity. And I mean, not only is it a visual film, very well done, but I think it's a film with a heart to it. Now, some people maybe it didn't pull them in or they didn't care. I did, and I like that this was a simple story. It was someone whose daughter died, and as she said, she was at school playing tag, fell, hit her head. It was the stupidest thing. And at that point, she didn't really have much of a life. She wasn't really living life that much. And this is sort of her rebirth. This is sort of her rebirth of going to, she don't keep on going. She don't keep on living. She don't live her life to the fullest after all this stuff that's happened. And this is sort of her rebirth into getting that strength. And I know you just say, well, this is pretentious and it's really bashing over the head. But this, like 2001 Space Odyssey and other films, this I could deal with. This I can deal with. This, it didn't bother me. Maybe it bothers other people. It didn't bother me at all. Because I thought it was well done. I thought it was well done. I thought everything from the acting to the production value to the special effects to the music, the sound design, everything was very well done. Very well done. Uh, and again, I bought it. I thought Sandra Bullock pulled it off. I thought she had a good heart. If I had only one nitpick, is when she tries to get in contact with someone and that someone answers back, and maybe she's going a little bit crazy and she starts like howling because the guy has a dog. That bit I think you could have cut out. Like I would have changed it to her laughing. I would change it to her laughing, like, wow, that's cute. And then the laugh turned into, you know, sort of tears. And I wouldn't have done the howling. I would have done laughing. That's the one little change I would do. But the scene was saved for me because right after she hears a baby, and here's the guy singing to her baby, singing to his baby, and she remembers her kid. It's like, I used to sing to my baby. And that's sort of the moment that she gives up because the place she's at doesn't have no gas. She can't get anywhere. She can't get in contact except this guy who doesn't speak English. And I know some people were mad about this sequence, but I was fine because she has a dream. Because she goes to sleep and then she has this dream where you think, oh, because earlier George Clooney's character disappeared. Well, he has to let himself go to save her, and then she wants to save him but can't get in contact with him and thinks that he's dead. And then she has this dream, and I knew it was a dream from the start because A, there was no reason George Clooney could have gotten back. B, when he opens the hatch, all she does is this, but she doesn't freeze to death. She doesn't die. She's still alive. So I'm like, wait a minute, something's up. Something's up with that. And then she asks, how did you get here? And he's like, oh, it's a funny story. And it's pretty much her subconscious telling her, no, wait a minute. You're not giving up. Don't give up. You know that there's something you can do. You just, and even, George Clooney is sort of her subconscious in her dream telling her, yeah, I did it. Yeah, it's nice up here. It's quiet. No one can hurt you. Uh, but, I guess you just got to decide whether you want to, pretty much you want to give up or, get back on your feet and, you know, get going. Go home. And George Clooney did a better job than I did, but I thought that worked well. I knew it was a dream, and it fit for it, and it gave okay. I'm not going to give up, and that's really maybe that's the summation of the film. Don't give up. That's what if there's a tagline, it could be "Don't give up." I think there was one called "Don't Let Go," but I would put like "Don't give up." And that's really summation of the movie. And what's wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'll take this over The Gray, where no one dies. Like that to me was a pretentious movie that I didn't care for, and I'm like, oh, give me a break. That was a movie that I didn't care for the ending. I'm like, I didn't care for its themes. That's a film I didn't care for. Survival movie that no one survives. But uh, I know some people say, well, it's predictable. Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you either A, Sandra Bullock dies, or B, Sandra Bullock lives. And there's not much to predict. It's just, to me, it was a roller coaster experience. You know how a roller coaster goes, but I thought it was the fun. And I didn't like the actresses, like when she tried, before all that stuff happens, she's trying to get out of there, go from point A to point B, and then the fucking parachutes get caught up, and she gets turned around, and then she has to get outside, and as she's working to unhook this stuff, the debris coming, and everything's just blowing up beside her, and she's just hanging on for dear life, and it turns, and part of it's hidden this like, I don't know what the hell you call it, the wind of a satellite dish, like the fans. I can't remember what is the exact term is. I'm sure someone's going to say it, and that's fine. But she's hanging on for dear life and trying to get back in. Uh, and then the whole stuff with her getting a re-entry and getting back in. I just think everything was very well done. I thought this is a film that when it was over, I was smiling. I was watching the end credits. And I'm like, this is a very well done film. It's short. It didn't need to be long. It's beautifully filmed. Very long takes without shitty schizophrenic cutting and editing, without shaky cam. Every action scene is done in a wide shot, and you see what's going on, and it's fluid. It's very well done with excellent special effects. Sandra Bullock, George Clooney gave a bit of heart to the picture because I thought they were likable. Yes, when I saw it in 3D, it was a great experience, but I'm watching the film itself, and I think it's a great film. I think it's got a bit of heart to it. I think it's got a bit of soul to it. I think it's got well done action scenes. I think it's got uh, beautiful effects, solid music, excellent direction, uh, and it's a simple story. And sometimes simple stories is all I want. I'm fine once in a while seeing a complicated story, but sometimes I just want a simple story too. And this to me worked out extremely well. If you were bored with it, oh well. I wasn't, and that's just the way it is. And all I say is, oh well. Whatever you guys feel about the film, hey, doesn't matter to me because I get to have a film that I can enjoy over and over again, and I think is a awesome fucking movie. I think it's very well done. I think it's a very beautiful film. I think not only is it a visual feast, but it has a bit of heart to it. Two likable people, Sandra Bullock, George Clooney. I like those actors. You got two likable actors. Score that fits the film very well. Little touches like I like when George Clooney, when he first hears that Sandra Bullock's bringing up about how she had a daughter, and George Clooney pulls off this mirror that he has to look back at her, and then the camera centers on the mirror that he's holding, and it pushes into the mirror. I like the way that shot looks, like just some really good looking shots, and because they had the freedom to do it, and this was sort of an experiment that you see in the special features that they were doing stuff that had never been done before, and like the special effects guys, what was it? It was like a company I'd never heard of before. They won't say it on here though, because it wasn't like ILM. It wasn't ILM at all. It was like another effects company that I don't know what they had done before, but if they don't get jobs after this, then someone's fucking up. Doesn't say on the credits. Probably should look it, but yeah, I can. That's the thing. I could look at this film and I can see they cared. They had passion for it. They gave a shit. It wasn't, I'm just making this film for money, like a lot of movies today. That's what I feel a lot of movies today. They're making it for money, or it's a movie by committee, or it's movie for bullshit. It's a movie that made by people who give a shit. I mean, Alfonso Cuarón, he directed the movie. I think he wrote the movie with I think his brother. He produced the movie and he directed the movie. You tell he gave a shit, and I can see that he gave a shit. You got your props to that. In this day and age, where most people seem like they don't give a shit. So yeah, I love the film to death, and I do agree with Time Magazine, best movie of the year by far, and that's Gravity. If you don't like the film, oh well, I do. Either way, thanks for watching. These are my big props to Gravity, and we will see you later. Bye bye.